Oh, we live, man. We live and direct. It's hot up in here. It's hot. What's up, everybody? I haven't done a live. Where we at? I haven't done a live in YouTube in a while. I've been hanging out on TikTok, and yeah, man, I just decided to drop in. I got a new laptop, so I'm trying to get this right. It looks kind of messed up, like the scenery in the back. I don't I don't know, but I'm gonna leave it like that anyway. It ain't got to be perfect for nobody. I'm here just to drop some knowledge and speak a little bit about what I think is going on right now. Um, and from my perspective, keep in mind that you're gonna have to understand my lingo. I'm gonna have to kind of break it down a little bit because YouTube already gave me a couple strikes, and I don't want to get the channel taken down. So I got to be kind of vigilant about the way that I go about speaking. But you guys should be used to that by now, as everybody's kind of making up their own language just to try to navigate through this censorship that's going on. Um, you guys drop with me just a little bit. Drop with me. Um, yeah, I don't really care if this gets monetized or not. Um, hold on one second. Let's actually put on some beats, man. That's what we're gonna do. Hip hop instrumentals. Um, there we go. Yeah, so I appreciate everybody that's with me today. First and foremost, I really, really do. Thank you for supporting the channel, Seven Circles. Those who don't know, my name is Jonathan. Um, my mission, my mission is to help out. My mission is to raise the frequency of this planet. And how do I do that? I do that by just being myself, man. I'm not compromising who I am. I'm not dumbing it down for anybody. I don't care about all of the political terms and being PC, politically correct. All of that to me is just nonsense. I'm just speaking from my heart. I'm from Queens, New York. I say what I want to say, how I want to say it. I do believe in respect. I do believe in that everybody has something special to give and to bring, and that's what I'm here to do. So just because I might speak blunt sometimes, doesn't mean that that have any type of anger or anything like that towards anybody. I'm just calling it how I see it. If you taste something, right? I used to be a chef. If I taste mashed potatoes and they're too salty, I'm gonna say, "Hey, this is too salty." You know what I mean? Go and add some more potatoes to it, add some more cream to it, or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, but nowadays, if something is too salty, right? They're gonna be like, "Oh, don't tell him it's too salty. You're gonna hurt his feelings, right?" Oh, it's fine, and then everybody's gonna eat it, and they're gonna be washing it down with water because it's gonna be way too salty. And it's like our planet, our United States, our I think our world in general, but definitely the United States, man, has become incredibly soft about not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings. Wanting to make people seem like they're victims, and that inherently is something that I think that is going to weaken and is weakening our society. So anyway, that's just kind of how I'm starting this off. The name of this little talk that I'm about to give is what the French toast are we afraid of? And the French toast is in parentheses. So I'm thinking that you guys understand what I mean by that, right? Let me turn this mic up. Can you guys hear me okay? Check, check. Mic 1, 2. Check, check. Let me just make sure this up. Mic check, mic check. I think it's good, man. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2, y'all. All right, I see something up in there, so I think we're good right now. So, all right, cool. So check me out, ladies and gentlemen. Check me out. What the French toast are we afraid of? I'm gonna start it off like this. that when we were babies, when we were being born, there were only two types of fears that I know of that we had. One was the fear of falling, right, and the other one was the fear um of loud noises. The fear of loud noises. Every other fear is a learned fear. We be learning so much fear, y'all. And where do we learn it from? Man, we learn it from so many ways. We learn it from our parents. We learn it from school. We learn it from religion. Think about this. In religion, if you're bad, you go to hell. In school, if you're bad, you fail. And in society, if you're bad, you go to jail. So fail, jail, hell. Fail, jail, hell. And yeah, all of that's fear based. Some of the biggest institutions. Jail's a gigantic institution. We know church is a gigantic institution. And we know definitely school is a gigantic institution. They say that church is for the woman, school is for the child, and jail is for the father. That's what I read on a memes somewhere. It made me think, and they also showed a picture of a school bus, a yellow school bus, and then a white school bus that looked very similar. So it was the yellow for the school, and then a white one for the jail. And then they talk about the cafeteria foods and how they resemble the ones in school resemble the jail. But anyway, these are all fear-based institutions, and they make it seem like that they're based on proper academic and things of that nature. And that's not what it is, man. It's not what it is. Look, this is coming from a cat that has been homeschooled, but mom, is a teacher. She has her doctor's degree, et cetera, et cetera. She's taught, many different grade levels, college, high school, junior high, whatever. And I know what goes on behind the realms of it. We all know about, you know, John D. Rockefeller and how he actually, is responsible for the school system and especially the curriculum that's being taught in the school system. And even though we know that this to be true, we just ignore it. We ignore it, and we do this with so many things. We do this even with religion. The fact like I'll just say it like this, man. I don't care if it hurts your feelings, but so many people, and this one I want to talk about black people. So many black people they subscribe to the religion of uh, Christian. That I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Not getting on nobody's religion, but just hear me out. But yet, this religion was forced on people through violence and rape. These are facts. These are historical facts that you can go back and you can validate them. I'm not saying anything. I'm not making anything up. I'm just telling you what I read, what I came across, what I studied. That Christianity was forced on people through violence. Right, over 50 million Christians have people have died. Over 50 million have died because they didn't want to be Christians. I mean, essentially, that's what's going on when we go to other countries, right? That these people are Muslims, and you know, let's kill them or whatever. What God doesn't um, exist in other religions, right? This is our whole thing. I mean, even when it comes to slavery, right? The fact that like the fact that like people, still hang on to this religion. Oh, Jesus is coming back to save us, right? And they're not taking responsibility for their own life, right? Oh, we can just go ahead and keep on being how we are. It doesn't matter, right? Because the Lord is going to come and save us. How long have we been hearing this mantra forever, right? Where was doing slavery, right? Through all this times and everything else. Why didn't the Christian religion do anything? Why didn't Jesus come and stop all of that? So what I'm saying is like, look, when we look outside of ourselves for an answer, we lose the power. That's what I'm saying. We lose the power when we look outside of ourselves. And one reason why people were so successful, one reason why Jesus was successful, one reason why Martin Luther King was successful, one reason why Gandhi was successful in doing what they did. And I use those three people because believe it or not, Gandhi got ideas from Jesus and Martin Luther King got ideas from Gandhi. So you see similarities in all three of them. But what they did was they all three of them never looked outside. They all looked within. They all looked within inside of themselves. That they say, you know what, I'm gonna have to be the change. They didn't look for an imaginary God or an imaginary entity, um, or even somebody to come out and save them. They say that we are actually going to have to be the ones to save ourselves. And then they orchestrated things. They orchestrated the silent resistance. They orchestrated the marches. They orchestrated the non-compliance to the highest degree. What are we doing right now, ladies and gentlemen? We read about these people. We glorify them. We talk about them. We teach them in schools, in these institutions. What are we doing right now? How many people's walking around, getting that card right now, right? Getting that Jabadoo, right? Just so that they can use certain amenities, right? How many people's just automatically acquiescing, right? Just doing anything without protest. How many people's just going along with the river, the stream, and not swimming upstream? How many people are believing the political agenda? How many people are absorbing all of the negative frequencies that's coming out of the TV that's being spewed out from the news day and night? How many people's buying into that narrative? Lots of them. Lots of them. You see people walking around, people are afraid. I remember, like, I was at a store not too long ago, and there was this lady, and I went close to her, and I smiled, and the look in her eyes, man, she was terrified. Like, if I was gonna inflict harm on her, just saying hi. Why? Because I didn't have a mask on. I mean, the lady was shook. She would act like I was gonna snatch her purse or something. I was like, wow, man. And this is what I'm talking about, people. Fear. So I started this off by saying that we were only born with two fears: the fear of loud noise and the fear of falling. The rest of the fears, man, they were learned. The rest of the fears, they were learned. They were learned. Who are we learning them from? Again, from these outside sources, man. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be afraid of. I wanted to tell that lady, like, you ain't got nothing to be afraid of, man. If anything, you should be afraid of the news. You should be afraid to feed your mind with that, because that's what happens. We think of when we consume something as something like this, right? We think of consumption, consuming food, but when in fact we consume music, we consume TV. You guys are consuming this right now, and everything that we're consuming is a frequency. So this juice is a frequency. This crystal right here, the reason why crystals are powerful, because they all emit a certain frequency. And then we're consuming that frequency. We become one with that frequency. The music, we're consuming that frequency. We become one with it. So um, it's like we don't got nothing to be afraid of, man. We obviously don't got anything to be afraid of. And I'm just waiting patiently for you know everyone to wake up, to realize that no one could really make us do anything. The only thing that they can do is that they can trick us to making us think that we don't have power. That they can trick us to lowering our self-esteem, to make it think that we need them. That's what that's what an abusive relationship does. Even if it's the man or the woman, I don't care what side. They make the other person in a relationship think that you need them. Lies, 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 lies. But that's what they do. They make you think that you need them and you're dependent on them. And that's why the government wants to hand out free money to everybody, so that we become dependent on it. That's the whole trick. That's the whole trick. So, and I was going in on TikTok too, man. It got turned off. But yeah. Let me man, there's so many things I want to talk to you guys about, but I really have to watch my mouth, because TikTok I can speak a little bit more freely. If you guys haven't followed me on there, by the way, follow me on TikTok. Seven Circles, same tag. Um, but let's talk about let's let's talk about some things, man. Let's talk about how do we escape? How do we leave? How do we leave this matrix? So many people say they want to leave the matrix. I hear a lot of people saying that. These are flashy thumbnails and flashy things, right? Let's leave. Let's leave. Let's leave. But how many people really want to leave? I don't know. I don't think a lot of people really want to leave. I don't think a lot of people really want to leave. I don't think a lot of people actually know what it means to actually live in in an environment that isn't ran by the Matrix. Because believe it or not, it's not easy. I lived out in the woods for 2 months, and I'm gonna tell you that it is not easy. It's not easy at all, man. Not easy at all, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Look, I got this acronym right, and I talk about these 7 pillars that are putting out a frequency in the U.S. and many other places as well too, that are controlling the people. And that frequency is what is it? It's called Realm. REALMMM, and it stands for the religious, the educational, the agriculture, the law enforcement, the media, the monetary, and the medical. And when you're out there in the matrix, and when you're by yourself, um, like real story, like it's not it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. So you have no religion out in the woods. Look, if people didn't have a Bible, if people didn't have a Quran, if people didn't have a Baba Gita, people didn't have any textbooks whatsoever that's teaching them about these religious things. Then what? Then where do you get your religion from? That's that's a real question. If you didn't have a book that's telling you about your religion, then where do you get your religion from? It's something called paganism, right? They talk about hugging trees and all this kind of stuff of nature. I I mean, if anything, you're gonna be able to find God. If you're looking for God, you're definitely gonna be able to find Him a lot faster out in the woods versus in a book. Especially books that were edited and manipulated by kings. I'm just telling you, that's just basic wisdom. That's just basic logic. Like if you can't see that, then I don't know. But okay, educational, right? Because we're talking about realms, REALMMM. So religion, in the woods, off the matrix. All right, cool. Your own religion. What about educational, right? I mean, what are they teaching? What are they teaching up in schools right now? What are you guys really learning? How to write, how to read, basic arithmetic. What's next after that? Then they start teaching you the stuff that you don't need to know about. They start teaching you the fake history, fragments of truth that's embedded within it. They start teaching you these maths that you don't even need to know, trigonometry and different algebras and calculus and things like that. What else? Social studies and freaking sociology and all these other things. It's a bunch of BS, right? What else? Um, Agriculture. What are they feeding you in the cafeterias? Most of that food, honestly, when it just boils down, salt and sugar. That's all it is. Salt and sugar. This is coming from a chef, man. I know exactly what they put in those foods. I know exactly. I know exactly how corporate America is ran. Every job in my life, over 31, have been in the restaurant industry. And I've done it all. From even when I was going to Penn State, I worked in the cafeteria over there. I went to 3 culinary schools. I've been in fine dining places in Napa, California, in Chattanooga, and what's the other place called? I forget. I've been in hotels. I've been in casual dining restaurant everywhere. You know what I'm saying? All types of positions. I know what goes in these foods, guys. They can't trick me. And the schools that's in the school systems, especially when you get to lower class neighborhoods, lower income neighborhoods, it's very unfortunate, man. Very unfortunate. Um, so yeah, you think about nature. What does nature provide? out living like in the Matrix. She provides some of the best foods ever, man. I mean, like look at this plant right here. Like this is beautiful. You know, it's interesting because I was talking to my dad. We were talking about my grandfather, his dad. He passed away not too long ago. He was 96, and he was saying how they would just eat stuff off of the trees all the time. This was cherry season, so they eat the cherry trees. This was mulberry season, they eat the mulberries. If they seen some type of animal or something, they kill it, and that was their lunch, that was their dinner. And they lived out in North Carolina when he was younger, and there was like 8 of them, and they will all sleep like in like a barn, and sleep on top of like one another. It was like that's how they lived. And later on, then he went to World War II, and then he came out. He moved to Brooklyn. He got with my grandmother, and they had my uncle and my dad, and my aunt, and then my other uncle. But it's interesting because that's the way people were living, walking around barefoot and everything like that. And they survived the Great Depression and all that stuff. But my point is that like the trees, right? They just ate from the land, right? I mean, I'm a vegan and whatever, but even now, like people are healthier. Those people are healthier than the people who are eating right now. Maybe even in some of the vegans. Um, and you think about all of these trees that we have all around here. Like I'm in California, and we do have a good amount of trees. We do have a good amount of like orange trees, and I can find a couple peach trees out in the wild or plum trees. I know where they are, like in the woods at certain spots. But there used to be fruit trees all over the place, all over the place. Apple trees, pear trees, this tree, that trees. And what the government did was the government at some point, they cut down all of the trees, and then they bought into this whole corporate thing, and they actually started selling the fruit and having the farms where because think about this: if you already have fruit trees in your backyard and whatever, you don't need to go to freaking Kroger or Safeway or Seatown or Pathmarks or wherever you go to. You don't need to go there to get it because you already have it. So what they did was they got rid of all of the fruit trees. So what I'm saying is like nature, she provides that already. Nature already provides that, and all you got to do is just look. You got to look, man. Very 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 important, very important. So um yeah, law enforcement, right? Here's another one because we're talking about realm, religious, educational, agriculture. So law enforcement. When did this take place? Cops started to come into existence, I believe, around the late 1800s. This was something to do like after the Civil War and something to do with like slavery, from what I remember. And like cops, they aren't natural. They aren't natural to be on the land like that. Like it's a business. I don't know if you guys know that, but they're building prisons all over the place, and there's rich people building prisons. And what they do is they create some crime, whatever, to lock the people up, and then everybody that gets locked up, they get paid money, for the time that people are doing. It's just a freaking business, man. It's a freaking business. But I mean, even nowadays, like I got robbed 4 times this year, man. And freaking the cops, they took forever to come to get a police report so I can get insurance. I mean, one of them even took 6 hours to come. The other one took 4 hours to come. But going out like in nature, there's no cops out in nature. If you're out on your land and you got, let's say, 40 acres, 50 acres, 60 acres, 20 acres, right? There's no cops coming for you, right? Oh, I got a black bear that's, it's no cops. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming. What about the media, right? I mean, we're supposed to have freedom of press, right? Isn't that in the what? Isn't the Constitution or something like that? Freedom of press. Obviously, we know we don't got that right now, right? They got the freedom to. I mean, like even here on this app that I'm using right now, I got to be very cautious about the way that I'm speaking, so that I can continue to speak on their platform because it's not freedom of press, man. It's freedom of oppress. Okay, the freedom to oppress you and suppress what you're saying, right? They say this is our app. You sign the partnership or whatever, and you can't say these things. You can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. You can't talk about whatever, right? So, yeah, none of that's out in the Matrix. There are no newspapers. The bear and the deer. It's not printing out the daily press, from the oak tree and giving you, you know, the news about what's going on. You have to be in tune with your environment, and if you listen, your insights is going to tell you what's going on. One thing that I could tell you about living out in the woods for 2 months is that honestly, once I was there for about a month, because the first month was hard, but the second month, every time I was in the woods and I was going to sleep, I swear to you, it felt like a blanket was just being wrapped around me, like a blanket from the woods. Like it was like a spirit, like a blanket from Mother Earth. Like I'll protect you, I love you. It was the most beautiful thing ever, and yeah, you just become totally acclimated. You become totally recalibrated back into your original self. We've been so far removed from our environment that we don't even know what our environment is. That it's so foreign to us. Believe it or not, we're native to this land, people. A lot of us think that we're native to, especially speaking to people who are black people. A lot of people think that we came from Africa or something like that through slavery. We are starting to wake up, and we know that that's a lie. But a lot of us are actually Native American. I know that my grandfather and my other great grandfather were full blown Native American, Indian, Aboriginal, however you want to say it. Like and like these lands, like uh we are we're one with them. We're one with them. It's like if you take an iguana, right? You take, let's say there's a bunch of iguanas down in um what's that place called? Florida. Taking a bunch of iguanas down there, and you bring one up to the north, and it's just moving around. It seems odd. It seems right, but the minute it gets back in its environment, it just knows that it's supposed to be there, and it starts to flourish. The color of the skin turns different. It begins to move faster. It begins to have more energy. It just begins to feel better. It's acclimated to that environment, right? Certain things do better in certain environments. And that's what I'm saying. Like the minute we get back into nature, things begin to start to activate and turn on, right? I mean, I got incredibly strong when I was out there. I got incredibly into it. I told you guys about some of the things that happened to me. Like for instance, I didn't think whatsoever. There was no thoughts in my mind. My mind was as still as a pond, like at 4 o'clock in the morning with no wind. Like it was the most beautiful thing ever. If I wanted to think, I could think, but there were no thoughts, man. Such peace, such power, such perfect eye contact. I could look at somebody in the eyes, and that person will automatically just know that I was not playing, and they would do it. And like it was just the most. I don't even know how to explain it, y'all. But because I just had that power inside of me, and I'm saying that because excuse me, we all have that. We all have that, but we're never going to realize it until we put ourselves back in that environment. It's like a caterpillar, right? You take a caterpillar out of its environment, it's never going to turn into a butterfly. It needs the trees, it needs everything else that's in that environment to help it to turn into a cocoon, And if you don't have any trees in the cage or the other foreign environment where you put it, it can't put itself in a position to metamorph into a butterfly. It's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the same thing with a watermelon. You could plant a watermelon plant in a small cage or whatever, but if it doesn't have the proper sunlight, if it doesn't have enough heat and enough space or whatever, it's not going to produce a watermelon. You might grow the plant, you might grow the leaves, but there's a seven unfoldment process to a plant from a seed to a tree, right? When I was younger, I made up a poem. It was a seed to a tree. What a beautiful life. My goal as a tree is to reach the sunlight. Water keeps me growing as well as love. I will always be a seed inside of me, a tree, thanks to nature's love. And what I'm saying is that this is Palo Santo, by the way. But what I'm saying is that yeah, there's a seven unfoldment process. Some say there's six, some say there's seven. But it's from a seed to the stem to the leaf, from the leaf to the bud, from the bud to this the seed, and then the fruit. And some could say the fruit and the seed is the same thing, but whatever. It's just that's the process. That's the process of it, and yeah, and we just got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. So, what was the other ones I was talking about? Medical, right? Because that's one, and then monetary. That's another part of the realm. In the medical, there's what's the medical out in the woods? Talk about plant medicine, man. Medical is medicinal purposes. It's like freaking dandelions. Dandelions to clean out your toxins, right? Clean out your liver, all parts of the dandelion, from the root to the leaves to everything. What about there's so many herbs out there, man, and so many purposes, from sage to, I mean, even this Palo Santo, right? And the way you do it, the way you make teas, or you're burning it, or you're making a paste out of it, or whatever. But so many plant medicines out there, and that's what it used to be before big pharma, man. That's what it was. It was all about plant medicines. And dude, what's his name? Rockefeller. He put it into that, right? And then of course he put it into that through money. And then when it comes down to money, there's no money out in the matrix. There's no money out in the matrix. So there's no monetary system. I mean, I guess you could find this, right, which is money in the Constitution, silver or gold or something like that. But there aren't any of these pieces of paper with dead presidents, right? You're not gonna find any of those. And yeah, so people say they want to go out to the matrix. They want to leave the matrix. Are you really sure you want to leave, or are you just saying that you want to leave the BS? You want to leave the politicians. You want to leave, the control aspects of it. So I mean, you can always have one foot in and one foot out. You don't have to have both feet out. Um, and why are you leaving? Are you leaving because you're afraid, or are you leaving because you really, really want freedom? That you really would do anything for your freedom. I think freedom for me is the most important part, man. That's the reason why, like, I don't get down like with anything that's addicting. You know what I mean? From drinking to smoking to, even when it comes to like sugary foods or anything, I can stop, man. Like I got a thing for oatmeal raisin cookies, but I can stop anything, anything. I won't let anything control me. The minute something becomes addicting, even if it's sex or something like that, like I don't want no part of it, because what that is essentially doing is stealing my freedom. Anything that's addicting is stealing my freedom. And then when you don't have it, it becomes some type of fear or some type of desire. If you don't have it, and then a fear sets in, like, what am I going to do if I don't have this? And I don't want to be at the whim of my desires. I don't want to have to long for something outside of me, because to me that's not a source of freedom. Anything that I want is inside of me, and this is facts. This is fact. So when I ask people, like, what are we afraid of? Look at what we're made of, right? Who was that? I forget. There was somebody from back in the days, a rapper. But what did we? Was it Goody Mob? It wasn't Goody Mob. What are we afraid of? Look at what we're made of. Look at what we're made of, man. We're more than flesh and bones, skin and muscles and hair and all of this stuff. We're more than articles of clothes. We're more than eyes and teeth and hair. Nah, man. We're made of some powerful stuff. We are made of sparks of divinity. We're God. We're God. We are God. Yes. This is the highest truth. Whether if we recognize it or not, you'll be in denial of your whole entire life. But the truth is the truth. And I'm just saying, like, what are we afraid of? Everybody, um everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die to get there, right? What are we afraid of? Why is everybody so afraid to die? We're all gonna leave this. The only way to leave this place, well, actually, no, there's more ways, because you can ascend out of it, whatever. But most people who leave, they're gonna leave out of here, and they're gonna die when they leave, in many different ways, right? Car accidents, whatever, um, heart attacks, and this and that, or whatever. What I'm just saying is, like, the four biggest fears is death, fear of poverty, fear of old age or illnesses, and then the fear of being ostracized, of like not being included. Those are the four biggest fears. And what is the definition of courage? Definition of courage is to be afraid and to do it anyway. Be afraid and to do it anyway. So what I'm just saying is, like, get up on your high horse and giddy up. Giddy up, man. There's a lot going on. It's a lot of control measures put into place. You need this type of card in order to use this type of establishment. You need this type of passport in order to eat at this restaurant, right? If you don't get this Jabadoo, and then you can't go to this country, or you can't go here, you can't go there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time where we stand up. This is the time where we do what we came here to do. What would Rosa Parks do right now? All these people that they teach in the school system in this institution called school in America. What do they teach? What do they teach? We're coming into the month of Black History. Literally every day is Black History. Every day is history. I don't equate it to a month. In my opinion, that's disrespectful. Um, but what do they teach, and what are they going to teach? Right, because that's around the corner. They're going to teach something about, how do you call it? I'm so sorry. Rosa Parks. Yeah, they're gonna say something about Rosa Parks, right? They have the bus where she sat down and wouldn't get up. It's actually in the museum in what's that place called, in Detroit. Because Detroit used to be like the mecca of the United States. That's where Henry Ford made his Model T, right? His big car was like a car booming town, and the whole town was built up off of that. So anyway, um, yeah, they reserved the bus and they put it in a museum. Imagine if it was right now and she was like, "I'm tired." They was like, "You need to show a passport to get on this bus." What would she do? She'd be like, "I'm not getting my butt up." You know what I mean? And she probably wouldn't get up right now. She'd be like, "Forget that whole passport thing or whatever." And back then, that was the law, right? That was Jim Crow law. So many people just was they was just so familiar and so comfortable with that law that, oh, this is the way it is. This is the way it is. But she didn't accept things for the way that it was, and she didn't let her fear, false evidence appearing real. She didn't let her fear take control of her. She said, "I don't care. I don't care." And that's when changes is made in life, man. Changes is made in life that when your passion and your desire becomes stronger than your fear. Fear is weak, man. Fear is actually a little bitch. You know what I mean? Honestly, like fear is something that uh it it shows you. It's a guide. It's like, yo, man, be careful. Yo, watch out for this. But honestly, like fear is like it's just a little bitch. Honestly, it really is. Like um, it's not to be looked at as like the gospel, like the main thing. You know what I mean? It's just a warning. Like, okay, this could happen, just to let you know. You know what I'm saying? But like, don't let it rule your life. Don't let it rule your life, man. Courage. Be courageous. Be brave. Right? Stay steadfast on your goal. Like, what are you living your life for, man? Are you living your life just to fornicate, like eat, defecate, and freaking work and have some entertainment? Is that what your life's about? Or do you actually come here with the purpose to like make a change? Do you actually come here to like bring more light on this planet? I don't know if you have children or not, and if you don't, then like, what about your cat? If you're a cat mom or a dog mom, right? I don't know, man. What are you doing? Because if you're not part of the solution, are you part of the problem? I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. Like, if you're not, if if you're not like resisting tyranny, and then that means that you're actually like cooperating with it. If you're not resisting it, you're cooperating with it. And I'm paraphrasing. That was a quote by a famous president. I forget who it was, but yeah, this is the new normal. We have to do this, so we have to. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What are you talking about? Don't you know who you are? Don't you know who you are? You're God. You're God. The only way that they can control you is to trick you and make you think that you're not God. That's for all of us, every single one of us. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're Indian. I don't care if you're Native American, Aboriginal. I don't care if you're Indonesia. I don't care if you're Filipino. I don't care what you are, man. Each and every one of us are God and goddesses in our own right. Each of us are. And the only way that anybody can ever control us or whatever is when we give them permission to do so. And what they do is they actually trick you through language, linguist, linguistics. They trick you through that, and they can trick you through laws, because these laws are also has a lot to do with linguistics and tricking you by the words that they use. Especially in like the Black Laws Dictionary, a lot of them, you know, you would think it's something for like the regular layman, but it actually has a different legal meaning to it. And that's how they trick you. So you get deceived to give up your own rights. You get deceived, and yeah, deception, man, deception, 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 deception. So I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stay here, man, because I was already on TikTok for a while, for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So my throat is why I was kind of coughing. It's kind of already got me a little bit, and I got a bunch of stuff that I got to do. But I do want to do a live. I do want to get it together a little bit more decent. Maybe get a background. I've been slacking on that, man. I just been busy, y'all. And honestly, I haven't been feeling good the past 2 days. But yeah, yeah. Stay strong. Stay strong. Don't let fear rule your life. Let your life be ruled by love. Let it be ruled by your passion. Let it be ruled by not what you don't want, but by what you do want. Right? It's when we pray. We don't pray for something we don't want. We pray for what we do want. Have some vigor. Have some courage. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what is right for all life. Stop feeding into the political agendas. Stop following dead religions that never promised anything. You know what I mean? Look at the facts. Look at the historical data. You know, look outside of the box. Open your mind. Be a free thinker. Don't let nobody control your thinking. Just look at the history, and then make your decisions. Look at all angles, and really look without a biased mind. Don't be prejudiced. Right? Just look, and go in there with a glass that's not half empty or half full, but just an empty glass. Right? To have an open mind and know nothing, and look and learn. Stop being so stuck up. Stop being snobs, man. Stop subscribing to some agenda, to a left side or a right side or a this side or a that side. Just be free. Be free. Be like a child. Be like a child that's coming in, and it looks at an object and it doesn't know what the object is. It can have a ball. It doesn't know what the ball is. It doesn't say, "Oh, this is a ball." It doesn't say, "Oh, this is red." It just takes it and looks at it and tastes it and observes it. It doesn't know what it is. It doesn't say, "Oh, this is a basketball." Oh, this is no. It doesn't know anything. It just has a completely open mind. It's not judging it. It's not being prejudiced against it or anything like that. And that's why we need to be as children if we want to enter this heavenly kingdom, right? Right. So that's my advice, Joe. That's my advice, man. Stop being so uptight, man. Because nobody came here being a Democrat or a Republican. Nobody was born, being black or white. These are all constructs, freaking social constructs. Nobody came here, of a steak in their mouth, saying I'm a meat eater. That didn't happen, man. Nobody came here um as a Christian or as a Muslim. Most likely that was given to you, just like the way your name was given to you, and many other things that was given to you. So I'm just saying, like, stop being afraid. Think for yourself. It's time to wake up. It really is. I love you guys. My name is Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in to Seven Circles. Hope you guys have a beautiful day, beautiful week, beautiful month, beautiful year, and a beautiful life. Appreciate you so much. You like my content, you support it, pass it around. Um, yeah. Just to let you know, I now have what do you call it, man? Super chats. So, you guys have any questions, blow me up. All proceeds goes back into the channel to grow the channel, make it the best channel ever. Keep putting out the truth. I respect you guys. I appreciate you. Take care. Peace.